Guys and dolls, Freedom Dad here, and it's bedtime for me. It is 9:45, and it's been a long day, so it has an emotional day, I have to say, but I'll touch on that when I do a live. Sorry there's been no videos coming, but you understand. I'm seeing my baby, and yeah, I just want to say that I've never felt so strong and so confident and so positive in a long time, even with the amount of flack I'm getting right now on the internet for the boat, because that's still going, still loads of stuff coming out today, newspaper stuff that they do online. They're just keeping it relevant, you know what I mean? And usual lies. I was racist, I'm a fascist, and all the rest of it. And I'm not addressing it, I'm not explaining myself, using no score. I'm not racist, I'm not a fascist, I'm not far right, and there's nothing I can do. They can write whatever they want, and there's not a thing I can do about it because I haven't got a penny to sue them. And it's funny because this morning Maeve was in a wee bit of a bad place, back in the house where me and my wife spent many years, and it was difficult. No dogs being there as well. That was the first ever walking into my house with no dogs. And I wasn't ready for it. Let's just say that. But then seeing Lucky and that was difficult. It's like, I want her with me, but it's too dangerous because of the papers going on about paramilitaries and saying I'm related to Shingle butchers and the kind of work that I do and the kind of threats that I get. So, it would be crazy for a father to bring a child in that kind of atmosphere. But, I wanna reiterate, it is the papers. This is the papers that are putting my life in danger, It's difficult. It's difficult because I know who I am, I know what I'm doing, I know how true I am, and how honest I am, you know what I mean? And, yeah, I think there's a new Freedom Dad coming, guys. There really is. I always tried my best not to let things get to me, but I was never able to do it. There was always that wee niggling thing down there. Well, if somebody believes that, it's one too many. The stuff that they read. Now, after seeing Lucky, something's changed. I think you're going to notice the change. So Freedom Dad is coming out of first gear, and he's now going into second gear. And yeah, I'm here for the long haul. Nobody stopped me. Nobody's gonna sway me off the path I'm on. And all I'm gonna do is go harder now. And I'm not gonna worry about being vain. Where I don't subscribe, you don't need to like, you don't need to do this, never putting videos out and telling people to follow. Things are gonna change. It's time to grow. It's time to grow our country into a strong right-wing political party of some sort. Get rid of the kid honors and the hanger honors and the ones that are pretending to help, but really they're there to destroy our lives and our country for some sort of hatred, whether they don't have kids or whether they just are hateful people and they just like hating on anything that's good, because there's a lot of people like that in the world. But, it's like, and I just want to touch on this while it's in my head, and I don't know why it's just jumped in. The Charlie Kirk thing, it's heartbreaking and all. Like, I struggled with it. A lot of us did, you know what I mean? But I want to make this point. I want you to research how many teachers that are being sacked right now in America because they supported the unaliving of Charlie Kirk. And I want you to understand that this is the problem that we have. This is what I've been telling you from a long time. The left have infiltrated the schools and the colleges. They're indoctrinating our kids, okay? They're pushing an ideology onto our children. And because they know most of us, Generation X, and going back the way, are right-wing. We're traditionalists. We love our culture. We love our traditions, and, kids like to hate on their parents, especially parents who are trying to do the best and being strict and trying to look after the kids properly. You get a lot of flack for that, and the teachers know that, this education that we've got know that, And this is what they're driving. So I want you to pay close attention to your schools. I want you to pay close attention. I want you to speak to your children about the rhetoric coming out of the teachers' mouths. I want you to look deep into the education system where your children are being educated. This is very important. Now, I'm not going to say you're going to discover anything untoward, but I think it's very important that we start looking at these sort of things. We need to start looking deep inside the government, deep inside our social policies, what makes everything tick, the heartbeat, the veins, the blood that runs through the veins of our nation. We've got to really do that very, very quickly and understand exactly the political motives and the direction of the mainstream run by the government, across the board. And we know the newspapers are totally compromised, but I'm talking about the rest, This goes right into social work as well, guys, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I want you to pay close attention. And I also want to make this clear as well. There's going to be something changing with the protests in Northern Ireland. So there is. And it's not going to be, we're never going to be violent. I'm always going to call for peaceful protests. But no longer are they just going to be peaceful protests and everybody just goes home and there's been nothing that's come from it. Something's going to come from it very soon. And I'm going to bring out on my platform the ideas that I have to help us go forward and generate a proper government, a government that cares for the people, not just the people that are here voting, but for the children that can't vote, the people who will be here in the future. Because that's the problem with the politicians. They only care about the people that are here. And if half of them are foreigners, they will care about the foreigners because they want their vote. Always remember that. Every government right now that's destroying their country from inside are bringing foreigners in for the vote. Ireland and England, okay? Always remember that and keep that very clear in your head. It's gone too far. It's gone too far for them to hide. It's gone too far for them to lie. It's as simple as that, guys. The writing's on the wall. You just need to look, research, and you'll find it. The problem we have is half the people aren't awake. We're going to go into another 4 years of madness with reform, and there's nothing I can do to stop it. There really isn't. There's not going to be a proper right-wing party ready and established by the time I think there's going to be a new election. But, that's another video on its own. And, yeah, I'll do what I can do to make people aware of reform. As you know, my stance that reform is the new Labour. And I'm convinced, once 10 minutes of me explaining to you what I know, then you'd be convinced, you know what I mean? So I'm going to be bringing a video, but I really don't want to harp on about the same stuff. And I think there is a time and a place for certain videos. So, it's in the bank, guys. It's in the bank, but it'll come out when it needs to come out. I'm really tired. I'm really, really tired. Because it's been an emotional day, it drains you. But I wanted to get a wee video out, you know what I mean? Just before knock this slide off and get the head down. Because I miss yous. I miss my lives, you know what I mean? And I'm just non-stop. But I think I'll be back normal soon. And get ready for the new freedom, Dad. God bless.